Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, LFC fans. Welcome to another post-match reaction. Post-match reaction to our win against Crystal Palace away from home. Excellent, top of the league as we enter the international break, which is not my favourite moment in time because it never does well for us. So I really just want to chop up today my views on the game, how well we did, and some of the key points from the game that I sort of want to talk to you about and share with you my views on. So please like, subscribe, and click on the notifications. Do appreciate any feedback, any points. So please feel free and welcome to mention anything to improve, or your opinions, etc., etc. It's always appreciated as we try and grow this channel. So please like, subscribe, and click on notifications to get any updates as I grow the channel. So when we look at the start of the game, we look at the changes. And I did call it previously. I felt that Robbo needed a little break. He's not been that flying, they say the flying Dutchman, but the flying Scotsman on the left-hand side. He's not being his usual self. Age is a factor. He's picking a lot of injuries. He's still going out there playing for Scotland. And he's just not being the player that I've known, who's been pushing Trent for the assist king of the team. So Tsimikas came in for him. Konate and Virgil as the same, and Trent on the right, and Alisson in goal. Gravenberch stayed as it was. McAllister, and again another one I called was Szoboszlai change for Jones. Sobs doing really well. I've been very critical of sometimes his passing, because energy-wise and getting back and doing a lot of the work to cover Trent's side, etc., he's been on point. My criticism is always going to be about his distribution, and especially when he starts playing a lot of games, it seems to start getting worse. So it was good to him to get dropped for this game, or rest. In fact, let's change that. Let's say rested. So Jones could have an opportunity. And Jones in this game had a 98% pass rate. So some people are very polarized with Jones. Some people feel that he did well. Some people feel that he didn't do well. I think he just did a job. He did a job that Arne Slot wants, but maybe Jurgen wouldn't want. Jurgen probably wouldn't want 98% pass rate. You'd want to see a lot of penetrative passing. Whereas Arne Slot is happy with the control aspect for the game. So I feel Jones is coming to his fore with Arne Slot. Then we've got Salah on the right-hand side. Then we had Jota the slotter. And we had Gakpo on the left. And that was a starting lineup against a team that we know we historically struggle with. Crystal Palace is not an easy team to play at their ground. Crystal Palace, a very, very difficult team to beat. Fact. Tight, gritty defensive performance, I put. Crystal Palace is always a tough opponent at Selhurst Park, known for their physicality in counter-attack. And that's what was happening. First 22 seconds, we nearly had a Sean Connery. 22 seconds, luckily it's offside. But we have a tendency to start just a little bit slow again. But luckily, offside, it was well offside. So, we call it as it is. But it wasn't a good start and they had my heart jumping. Liverpool's defence had to be sharp to deal with their threats. So I felt with Eze and Nketiah playing a bit deeper than he normally would, they posed a threat with pace. And that's what I was worried about, was the pace. I kept feeling that when we lose the ball, we were so vulnerable to the pace. But Van Dijk and Konate play crucial roles in this game in keeping Palace from finding the back of the net. Even though they had a goal after 22 seconds ruled out with Nketiah, the two-man mountains were just there. Virgil van Dijk. what can I say? El Capitano. Is it me, or is he starting to play even better than he did last season? With last season, again, that recovery, he seems to be back to almost his best. He makes it look so easy. And in the meantime, he's bringing Konate with him, where we're seeing Konate becoming so much more confident. And on to Arne Slot, so much more confident on the ball. Konate now is confident coming out. Maybe I'm not confident with him, but he's confident coming out with the ball, and he's playing those nice little passes to Gravenberch or to Trent with confidence. And that's really, really, really makes the dynamic so much more. At times we were holding that ball, letting them push the press, and then passing it around them, which is fantastic. So I will say as well, I know he got injured. Alisson deserves a special mention for his saves that he made. But he had to go off injured with a repeat hamstring issue, which has been dogging him now. I think he's missed 42 games since he's joined us. That's about 7-game average per season. And he's getting old. I mean, I don't know why we didn't rest him for a few games after the hamstring injury came up in the first place a few weeks ago. I know Kelleher was injured or was unwell, but I kind of feel like we needed to give Alisson a nice 4-5 week break just to really heal, because he's getting older and he seems to just be picking up these injuries now. And it's going to be something to talk about in terms of next season with Gravenberch. I never say his name right. Gravenberch, oh God help me. But with him coming, potentially it may be time just to give, I don't know, it's controversial. Please give me your comments. Maybe Alisson may be sold next season. I don't want to see him sold, but you know, we've got a good keeper coming along, and Alisson is starting to get injuries. And we know Edwards is a person that will try and get the deal done before we see deterioration. Something to watch out for. So, solid midfield control. So, despite the fact it was a 1-0 result, in the game, I felt, especially the first 15, 20 minutes, we were calm apart from the 22 seconds, but we controlled. The passing, Gravenberch, give the guys flowers. I think he's been man of the match 7 times in a row now. It's just ridiculous. He just glides in the midfield. We can repeat these movements in each game. You see him turning a man in midfield and just gliding through. And he did that a couple of times against Crystal Palace, selling them a dummy and just gliding through. Distribution, tackling, being in the right place, confidence collecting the ball back. We are seeing this player show what he should have been at Bayern. But he's been given an opportunity by Klopp, and now further still by Arne Slot. And we are benefiting from that. We are benefiting from his confidence now in his own abilities. And yes, there's harder games to come. Yes, people on social media are talking about, oh, you're top of the league. You haven't played any good teams yet. You play who's in front of you. And right now, this guy has turned up and delivered. And as a club, we're delivering. And I really want to see his progression. I really want to see, knock on wood, no injuries, how he performs when we have a more sterner test. But right now, he's doing his homework. He understands the assignment, and well done. Jones, McAllister, thought McAllister's game was good. He goes so underrated sometimes. People don't notice it. I notice it. Some people are the glue that puts things together. He's the cohesion. When he went off, we saw that. We saw what happened. There's a period of time when he went off that we started struggling. But McAllister hopefully doesn't go away for international break. I'm so glad he's at the club. Jones, I thought Jones was steady Eddie. Jones played pretty well today. You didn't see a lot from him because he was doing the work that was needed to be done. And Jones has a tendency to be flashy. And because he was doing what he was meant to do, You weren't seeing the flashiness. He was doing a job. Some people criticising him, saying he didn't play well. I think he needs to just review what he's been asked to do and what he did. 98% pass accuracy. He played pretty well. Gakpo, good performance. Gakpo's coming with a lot of energy, a lot of sort of coming off the bench and doing a job and taking over from Diaz, etc. And when he's got the chance, he showed himself. He showed himself in this game. It was Gakpo, 9 minutes in. I think it was a great little ball from Tsimikas, I believe it was, or Gravenberch. And then it cuts through to Gakpo, left-hand side, crossing, and Jota the Slotter nips in there and puts in the back of the net. 9 minutes, 1 up. And it looked like a very, very orchestrated move. It looked like we planned it. It looked like there was a move where, we've worked on it in a training ground. And that's what we wanted to do. But it gave us confidence, It was it became the match-winning moment, but it feels like it's something that's second to nature because the way it happened, it just seemed orchestrated. And Gakpo really, really had a good game. He kept distributing. Jota should have got a hat-trick. Normally the Jota the Slotter, the cross that he had in, I think from Trent, the header should have gone in. Another pass in for Trent, he should have finished it almost identical to the goal. He should have scored it. He himself should have got a hat-trick. And that put the game to bed. So he is probably the best finisher in the team. However, we need that clinical Jota. We need to put teams to bed early so that we can get our players rested and subs into the game so that they get opportunity. Because I feel at times we made the game harder than it needed to be. And that's why it was a workmanlike performance for me. We didn't create much chances, if I have it right. So we created 4 shots on goal against their 5. So that shows you. But those shots that we did have on goal, we should have probably buried them. We should have finished it. And there was times where Crystal Palace had a bit nervy. There was a few Eze shots where on another day, it may have been finished and we may have been struggling. Especially when Mateta came on, we seemed to struggle a little bit. So there's a period of time after 60 minutes, between 60 minutes and 80, where I felt we were starting to struggle. But Slot made little changes. McAllister had to come off because of injuries, so Sobs was on. And it took Sobs a little bit of time to get to grips with what needs to happen. Endo came in the last, I think it was 9 minutes, 8 minutes. And what a cameo, or 7 minutes, what a cameo. He was getting himself stuck in there. And Diaz came in and did little bits just to keep the ball. And it was, I think people thought it boring. I'm okay with boring. I've watched games where we're up and down like a basketball game. I'm happy with boring. I'm happy with steady. I'm happy with strong back 4, midfield cohesion, controlling the ball, the passing, having the most passes. I think we beat the game for stats in terms of passing. We were controlling the game. Yes, we let some chances go, but we had more corners. And I think, to be honest with you, when I think about the shots, we should have, scored more goals than Deer did. So actually, I think it's okay. Robert came on for Tsimikas as well, and obviously the concerning thing was Yaros coming on for Alisson. With Alisson's hamstring injury, bound to leave him out for about 5 to 6 weeks. But hopefully Keller will be back, and Yaros is a keeper we should not lose sight of. He was with Sturm Graz, and he won, I think it was the title or the cup last season. And I think the season before that, it was with St Patrick's in Ireland. So he's a huge mountain or player, but he's confident. And he showed his confidence. He did pretty well. And I loved it when he came on, when he just told the defenders, no, go up. None of this playing the border back, which sometimes I hate. None of this playing the border back. We're going to put it up there. Put it up there. And he did. Just simple little things like that. make the difference in games. I'm happy for us to win boring. I'm happy for it. Because that's how you can end up winning titles. When Arsenal played last season, they weren't always constantly good. Some games were dead boring. And City have done that as well. But winning becomes a habit. That's a habit that we want to have, especially under Arne Slot. So if we look at the stats, 16 shots we had to their 9, 4 to their 5 on target, possession 68% to 32%, 632 passes to 294, 8 corners to 3, and my player of the match goes to Gravenberch. Again, I just think he's a man total form at the moment, and he's been consistently consistent. Yeah, he's been consistently consistent. And it's given us great momentum going on to the break. And as our manager said it, listen, we expect to be at the top. This is Liverpool. But also we know we've got harder games to come. We've got difficult games to come. And that will be a test for us. But right now we're dealing with the test that we're facing. City struggled. City should have lost, I thought, or at least got a draw against Fulham. Traore, if he had his finishing boots on, needed coaching at the end of the game from from the City manager, Pep. Needed to coach him because he's such a raw talent, but just couldn't finish his dinner. I loved it when he stripped Walker for pace. Even Arsenal, getting the results in, but not looking great. So, you know what? We're going to the national break, full of confidence, disappointed with Alisson. Team's doing well. Our defenders are really performing. Our midfielders are on point. Strikers need a bit of work. But Arne Slot, revolution's there. Or evolution, in fact, we call it. I love your views. Please give your comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me who you feel was man of the match, who you feel didn't play so well. Give me your opinions on Arne Slot and the first, 7 wins, 1 loss. Only 2 conceded, 13 goals scored. Give me your opinions, like, subscribe, and click on notifications, and speak to you soon.